Hello, my name is Jeanette Wright. I'm telling you about my enculturation. Actually, I was born into a family of 11. I had 11. My mom and dad had 11 kids, and I was the youngest of 11. And in my enculturations, we learned different things, different ways. Um, One of our beliefs were that we always treated people with respect, no matter what or where they came from. If they were an adult, we would treat them with respect. Coming up in church, whether our religion were, we just lived holy. It wasn't a religion; it was non-denomination. Just live holy. And another thing that we was taught by my grandmother, she was Cherokee, and my grandfather had Englishmen, but my father parents were black, and I was taught when I was younger to do the rain dance, Indian dance. And another thing I was taught coming up was language. We speak English, but when our parents didn't want us to know anything that they were talking about when we were younger, they would speak a thing they called pig Latin. If it had been Spanish, it would have been great because I would have knew Spanish because everything they said, it was basically like in pig Latin when the kids were around and we couldn't go outside if it was cold or rainy. We couldn't go outside. They would speak pig Latin. So we learned to speak pig Latin as a second language. But like my name is NJ Etne Itray. But if it had been Spanish, we would have benefited from it. But we didn't benefit from it because no one speaks pig Latin. Another thing that we learned that coming up was that certain foods you eat and certain foods you didn't eat. But basically having 11 kids, we would eat basically anything. But our main foods was called soul food, like greens, potatoes, meats like chicken, pork, but which I can't make now, and beans. I do not like beans at all now. Only beans I eat is baked beans and brown beans. And as for meats, I don't eat any pork. I don't eat any beef. I only eat chicken and seafood. Um, we learned how we knew about farming. We did work in tobacco, which I did. And I was the youngest. I did do a little chores, but I didn't do much because I was the youngest of the 11. And so basically all I done was spend time with my grandma while the other siblings basically did tobacco and worked on the farm. Well, let me see what else I can tell you about enculturation. We knew what was right and what was wrong. We knew not to take anything from anybody that wasn't ours, so not to steal. So I think I'm very thankful for that. And we knew that education was important. Another thing is that I'm not a speaker. I don't like to speak out in the public, but I knew this assignment had to be done. That's the reason I didn't want to join a group. I had to do it on my own because I don't like speaking in the public. I'm very timid when it comes to speaking out in the public. Let me see what else we learned. Another thing in my enculturation, when it was coming up, when a storm came along, we knew to sit still and quiet, not to move. As the day, people keep on going with, like if a storm come up, that people keep on going with what they're doing, but we knew to sit quietly. They would tell us that the Lord is doing his work, but the Lord do his work all the time. Well, there's really nothing else I have to say, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our enculturation when we were coming up.